In the first example, we're going to determine if this is true or false. If f of 1 is less than 0 and f of 5 is greater than 0, then there must be a number c in the interval 1 through 5, such that f of c is equal to 0. So the information they've given us is the second condition for the IVT, so f of 1 less than 0 and f of 5 greater than 0. But the problem doesn't state if f is continuous, so IVT cannot be used, so this statement is false. Number 2, f is continuous on this closed interval from 1 to 5, and f of 1 is greater than 0 and f of 5 is less than 0. So this is going to be true because of IVT, because IVT states that if f is continuous on a closed interval, and in particular this closed interval from 1 to 5, and f of a, which is f of 1, is greater than 0, and f of 5, which is f of b, is less than 0, then there must be some number called c in that interval from 1 to 5 such that f of c is equal to 0. So to see a visual of this scenario, we have 1 and f of 1, where f of 1 is greater than 0, and then 5 and f of 5, where f of 5 is less than 0. Since f is continuous on the interval from 1 to 5, the graph would eventually have to cross 0 somewhere between 1 and 5. So f of c would have to equal 0. So for our third problem, suppose that f is defined on a closed interval from -1 to 5, and f of negative 5 is equal to 2, plotting that point, and f of 5 is equal to -2. F be continuous if f assumes every value from -2 to 2. If every y value from -2 to 2 is covered, does f have to be continuous? And you can see in the example, we can cover every y value, but f is not necessarily continuous, creating that asymptote or a jump to illustrate. So after reading this problem, must there be a time when v of t is equal to -5? Looking at the chart, we see a value where v of t is less than -5 and another value where v of t is greater than -5. So thinking about IVT and knowing that we have to consider the first condition, is velocity continuous? Well, velocity is continuous because it was stated in the problem. Looking back at the problem, they said the car's velocity and acceleration are both continuous functions. So velocity is continuous. And since v of 35 is less than -5, and v of 50 is greater than -5, then there must exist some time on the interval from 0 to 60 such that velocity is equal to -5.